The moment you start using AI for real work, you become a manager. Not a people manager, a manager of fast, capable, slightly overconfident systems that can do incredible work if we know how to direct them. And there's actual proof that this matters. Ethan Mollick at Wharton ran a study with the Boston Consulting Group. Hundreds of consultants, real tasks. The ones who got 40% better results were not the most technical. They were the ones that were best at directing the AI. Delegation and direction, not prompting tricks. And it works on everything. Code, campaigns, hiring, you name it. The context changes, but the management part does not. And there are 3 ways we can get better at this. So let's talk about them right now. Number 1, treat AI like it works for us. Okay, so a lot of us use AI like a search engine, ask a question, get an answer, move on, and then, that's fine for simple stuff. But here's the upgrade. Start treating AI like it works for you, like a really fast team member who just handed in a first draft, because that is literally what every response is from the LLM. It's a draft. Sometimes it's great, sometimes it's half right, and sometimes it's confidently, impressively wrong, kind of like how I can be sometimes. Our job is to figure out which. That's the management part. Let me show you what I mean. Here is how most of us ask for help in AI. You ask a question like, what features should I add to the app? And you get back a list that sounds reasonable, but it's generic. It could apply to any app. It's not bad, it's just not managed. Now here's the upgraded version. Here is what my app does. Here is who uses it. Here are the 3 things users complain about most. What are the highest leverage things I should focus on next? And what would you push back on if I told you I want to build all 3 of these at once? So you see the difference there, right? We're not just getting an answer. Having a conversation, we're directing the work. Yes, it's more effort, but it compounds fast. Every follow-up makes your next answer sharper. I learned this the hard way. A while ago, I kept on getting mediocre responses from Claude on a project. And if you go and look into Reddit, you'll see all kinds of crazy stuff. People saying, oh, Claude has gotten terrible. It no longer understands what I'm talking about. And sometimes that may be the case. There are some regressions in Claude from what I've heard, but most of the time that's not it. So I went back and I looked at my prompts and I noticed that I asked vague questions for which I was expecting specific answers. The moment I started giving it context, asking it to push back on me and also pushing back on it and starting to tell it what I actually needed and being specific, the quality jumped immediately. Same model, totally different results. AI will absolutely help us move fast, but figuring out whether it gave us the right answer, that's our superpower, at least for now. All right, number 2, synthesize and challenge. Okay, we are directing the work, but now here's the fun part. AI does not just give one answer. It can give us back multiple options, right? It can give us back different directions, different drafts, competing ideas, half-right analysis. And the skill that matters most is not the generating part. It's making sense of what comes back. And here's what that actually looks like. Let's say we asked AI to give us 5 different positioning angles for our product. We get back 5 options and they all sound pretty good. But that's the dangerous part, because pretty good can trick us into picking whichever one sounds the smoothest. And there's actual research on this. As AI outputs get more fluent and polished, we tend to accept them at face value and verify less. Researchers call it the accuracy paradox. The better AI sounds, the less critical we become, even when the reasoning underneath it is not actually solid. So instead of just picking one response, you pull the multiple response apart. Where did they agree? Where do they differ? What keeps showing up across multiple options? What feels like it was just thrown in there to fill space by the LLM? That is synthesis. And it is one of the coolest parts of working with AI. We start to see patterns that the LLM doesn't even know that it's showing us. Then comes the challenge round. AI is very good at sounding right. That doesn't mean it is right, of course. So we push on it. Critique this. What is the weakest part? What would someone with 10 years of experience disagree with here? Give me a counter argument to this position. What am I going to regret about this approach in 3 months? Then we take the best parts, refine them, and ask for the stronger version. We're not just accepting output, we're shaping it. And that's where the real quality jump happens. It's kind of like having a sparring partner who never gets tired. The more rounds we go, the sharper the work gets. And every round is a management decision: what to keep, what to cut, what to push harder on. Now let's put it all together for the bigger stuff. This is where a lot of us can lose the plot. We hand AI one giant request and wonder why the results came back kind of like mid. It's like trying to install the kitchen cabinets before the foundation is poured. We ask for the finished version before we've even figured out the structure. That doesn't make any sense, but oftentimes that's how we end up using AI. And there are two moves here, and they work together that will help us do this better. First, break the work down into stages. Don't try to get everything in one shot. Split it up. And here's an example of a one-shot version. Write me a product launch strategy for converting free users to paid. And we get back something that looks like a good strategy doc, but really it's just a pile of generic best practices dressed up with bullet points. Now, here we need to break it down. When you're asking for things like this, first you talk about research angles. What are the most common strategies for converting free to paid users in mobile apps? Give me a range of approaches, pros and cons. And then you synthesize it. Based on all of that, what are the 3 approaches for a small team with an existing user base of 100,000? Then the drafting part. Great, write up the strategy, focus on approach 2, keep it on one page, be specific about the first 2 weeks. And then a review. Now you critique the strategy. What is the weakest assumption? What would fall apart if our conversion rate was lower than expected? When we keep these 3 stages separate, something great happens. We can actually see where things went sideways. If the research was thin, we fix the research. If the synthesis missed something, we fix the synthesis. We do not have to throw the whole thing out and start over again. Okay, the second part of this is build it up in layers. Even after we break the work down into stages, we do not try to get a polished result on the first pass. We go from rough to refined. Layer 1, get the shape. Does this thing have the right pieces? We're not trying to go for good yet. We're just trying to get into the right direction. Layer 2, fix the structure. Does this logic hold? Are the pieces in the right order? This is where we catch the big problems before we waste time polishing something that's not even built right. Layer 3, refine and polish. Tighten the language, fill the gaps, apply our taste and our standards. And this is why this matters so much. AI throws a lot at us. If we try to evaluate everything at once, the structure, the grammar, the logic, the tone, all at the same time, our brains can melt. But one stage at a time, one layer at a time, that's totally manageable. I know this sounds slow, but it's actually faster. One pass attempts almost always mean redoing the whole thing. The few extra minutes up front save us from a full rewrite later. And this is way more satisfying, right? Working this way. We can feel the work getting better at each step. We're having a conversation with the AI. It's helping us, we're helping it, and we're building something great. That is the management skill, knowing what to focus on at each stage instead of trying to do it all at once. Well, like I said in the beginning, AI is turning all of us into managers. The people who level up are the ones who are going to get good at this role. So treat AI like it works for us. Direct it, don't just ask it. Synthesize and challenge what comes back. Do not settle for pretty good. And when the work gets complex, break it down and then build it back up in layers. AI gives us the speed. Managing it well, that's where the magic is. All right, well, that's a wrap. You know the deal. Please like and subscribe and take care.